How's it going, everyone? Before we get into this mini build video for this fiery Lubu build, be sure to hit the subscribe button if you enjoy these build videos, because there's definitely more coming, don't you worry. Anyways, let's get into the build now. So, obviously, everyone loves Lubu, right? Well, his martial art for his weapon does do this fiery sweep attack, and I thought maybe I should make a build about fire revolving around that. And holy shit, am I glad I did so. Starting off, looking at my base stats here, you want to primarily focus on getting the most points into the fire stat, obviously for the spells, and since his weapon scales highly off of it, the rest of your points, it's kind of up to you at that point. I personally like having a higher health pool, so out of all the other stats, I like to put it in wood, make myself a little more tanky, you know? Now, going into the spell, you could tell from the little montage I mainly use just 2 of them, so let's go over them. So, the first one is going to be the Blasting Fire, which is just the basic fire move you get at basically the start of the game. It's the very first one you unlocked. And let me tell you, this move is heavily slept on. It's extremely underrated. Why? Because people just assume that because it's the first spell you get, they automatically think it's going to hit like a wet spaghetti noodle. But no. It hits harder than my Uncle Terry hit me and told me how hard he would hit me again if I told my parents. The damage output on this move is low-key impressive, and you actually gain some sort of a mix-up with it in a way. And what I mean by that is, let's say you're rushing your opponent and they're expecting a running attack to deflect or even to block it. Well, if you rush them and use this attack, it will sometimes throw them off and hit them through their guard, or even if they fail to deflect. And even if they do deflect it, nothing really happens because your character isn't set off balance or anything like that, so it's extremely useful to use. The second most important spell to use is Bursting Fireball, which is probably one of the strongest fire spells in the entire tree. You throw out this little ball of flame, arcing it, and when it hits near your opponent, it bursts into little fireballs and constantly blows up, dealing damage to them for a shit ton of damage. The spell is also fairly safe to use, and if it hits, it does massive damage like I was saying. It even sometimes one-shots players. There's only one downside to using the spell, and that is, people can deflect spam it. So, every single time it blows up, they can just keep using their deflect, it will keep building up their spirit gauge. So, it's not really a move to use just freely against a smarter player, because then that will just build up their gauge and that will let them use their spells of their own. So, be sure to know when to actually use this. So, for the last 2 spells, they aren't like extremely necessary with how good the other 2 are, but this is where you're able to put whatever you think fits your playstyle the best. So, I personally put on Scorch Spinner and Flame Weapon. Scorch Spinner is just a flashy move where you spin around shooting fire out your hands. It's honestly not very useful, I'll be real with you. It's super easy to just deflect spam, and it's literally just for the looks. Actually, I just think it looks really cool. And Flame Weapon is for if you're more aggressive with your weapon and you don't really use your spells as much, so you can use this for extra flame damage poke, I guess you could say. And that's going to about do it for the fiery Lubu build. Very simple but very powerful, and you should never underestimate the power of the flames from the mighty General Lubu. I hope you all enjoyed this video, and I hope you join me for the next build videos I'll have out. The full build will be shown at the end of the video, with my armor and weapon levels and whatnot. So, I'll be heading out now. I hope you guys enjoyed the rest of your day, and the rest of these invasions. Have a good one. Peace.